Good morning. It's a chilly one today. It's about 2 degrees, I think. I mean, it's not freezing, but it was a hard frost last night. Today is Saturday and I've got a lot of jobs to do today. Got more jobs on the to-do list and it's likely that I'll get round to doing. But one of the things that's happened in the last week or so is we had a really bad storm and we lost our Scots Pine tree. It was an ancient tree, really beautiful, up on a corner plot in front of the cottage. And it's a bit of a landmark, really. You know, it's when you approach the cottage, first thing you saw was that beautiful tree, and it just fell. So we have lost the whole tree. This is Poppy, in case you haven't seen Poppy before. She's a staffy. Anyway, I digress. So today I'm going to start making good use of the tree that has fallen. Obviously there's nothing we can do about it now, it's gone. A very kind neighbour came up with a very big chainsaw and has cut it into pieces. So at least we can use it. We're going to use it for firewood over the winters here. And also we can use the fronds, the needles, if you like, for mulch down in the back garden. So there's a lot of areas we can use the tree. So I want to use as much of the tree as possible. That's a bit of the plan today. So the sun is shining, as you can see. So it's a lovely day. It's, like I said, it was really cold, but I'm going to crack on and get as much done as I can. There's not that much daylight, so it'll get dark at about 3:45, and it's probably about 11 o'clock now. So I've got jobs to do, and I'm going to get on and do them. So this is where our beautiful tree was. Well, some of her still is. Clearly the roots were quite rotten, and she fell in that direction. I'll put a picture on the screen of what she looked like before and after. And now the cleanup will begin. So obviously from the chainsaw there's quite a lot of sawdust. We now have a big pile there of wood. These are all the tiny skinny branches where we've been stripping the fronds. There is another pile of wood. And here is the rest of the tree, which is going to get chopped up into small bits. We'll use as many of the big branches as we can, and I'm going to strip off all the needles. Well, I'm just going to put them as whole fronds. So I don't know if that's the right word for them, but that's what I'm calling them. So these can go directly as mulch, so I'll cut them about here, and so I don't have to strip the needles. I think I'd be here for weeks if I was doing that, but it'll be good mulch. It'll break down into the soil, and I'm going to put it in the clearing down at the back under the trees, so hopefully my big old tree can feed all the other little trees eventually. I've got an audience. But yeah, so it looks like it might be changeable weather. We'll see how it goes. It's very cold, so yeah, I'm just going to crack on. So that's the plan.
Meet me where the meadows grow by the water hole. Lucid dreams of you and me.
Okay, so this is where I've been putting them. As you can see, I'm putting quite a thick layer. I think the thing about that is that over time it'll break down. I know it won't act as a mulch as such because it's not dense enough to stop weed growth or anything like that, but I think once it breaks down and the needles start to brown and they start to work their way into the soil, I think it'll help the condition of the soil here. I mean, this is a bed, but only a bed by virtue of the fact that it's an enclosed space that's separated from the grass. So it's under a clearing. We've got a clearing all the way across here. And I kind of felt like, you know, a bit of extra nutrition wouldn't go amiss here. Doesn't get a lot of sun during the summer, obviously, because the leaves on the trees kind of protect this part. So we do have bulbs here. So we've got daffodils, camassia, a few other kind of like bluebell, that kind of thing. So, and that's nice as a kind of woodland floor effect. So I'm liking the idea of using this part of this tree in this way. So I think it's going to take a while though. As you can see, I've now turned this tunnel that these wee chickens live in. This is the caravanners, because that's their caravan. They were basically in this direction, and they were taking a lot of force from the weather coming up from the loch and coming up the glen that way. So I've moved them round so that now the back of the tunnel is where the worst of the weather comes from. And they've got a temporary tarp over them here because we had some sleet and a wee bit of snow, but not much, but we get a lot of rain. So I've moved them back round here. They're now beside the chicken tunnel, the tube as we like to call it. So we have all our chickens now facing the same direction, which is much handier for me. This is much better setup. But what it has meant is the bit they vacated, which is here, is now prime material for breaking down. So I've covered it in a tarp. I mean, it's going to make great compost. So I'm undecided on what to do with that area there. So I might plant that. I might use it as a bit of extra garden space. Or what I might just do is let it break down under there, and then in the spring take that off and sow it to grass. And then I can mow it with the rest of the grass. But I'm kind of feeling like it might be an opportunity lost for some really good compost there and to maybe grow something. We do get some sun on that in the morning during the summer. The sun rises over here, and so at the point at which it's up there for a couple of hours, that patch will get good sun. So lots of choices, lots of things to be decided, but in the meantime it's breaking down under that tarp. Now, as you might have seen, our lovely Scots pine tree was not the only casualty of the storm. Storm Gerrit, I believe the Met Office called it. What we have now is a pile of bits, which used to be the garden shed that was in the vegetable plot. So after I dismantled our hen house last autumn, because we had a red mite infestation, they were put into an emergency shelter, which was this lovely plastic shed. It blew away in the storm, and now we have just a pile of bits. But it has left a space in the vegetable garden, which, well, was the chicken enclosure, but is now what we're calling the row garden. So I'll show you that now. Okay, so this is where the chickens used to live, and this used to be the location of the shed that's now in pieces. But what I've done in here is I've created rows. I did create the rows, I should say, probably before the storm. So these look beautiful. They were all perfectly aligned. I marked them out and it was all lovely. And then the shed and the contents of the shed was spread right across here. So we have had some issue. I've also let my wee chickens in here a couple of times just to have a bit of a forage about. But ultimately this now becomes the row garden. So we're going to have rows, we're going to have potatoes, we're going to have onions, what else are we having in here? Oh, carrots in here, leeks in here, and possibly swede if I have any room to put them. So now we have a bit of what we would call a boerach, So yeah, it's a fine mess here, but there's bits and bobs, stuff that I rescued from the shed. But there is more space now. So we did have the shed here, and I thought it'd be handy to have like a walkway, but actually the rows can now probably be extended out probably another metre or so. So that would be handy as well. And under here I have planted garlic, so you can't really see, but under there all the garlic bulbs are in there, and they're covered in you know, like a fleece, and then also with some black plastic that can probably come off soon, but I will leave the little roof bit on because we will probably still get more snow. My lovely sister was up and she assisted with clearing out the rest of the garden beds. The storm has created some havoc. We've got lots and lots of branches hanging about now, but ultimately it's a lot better than it was, and I have drawn out a garden plan for what I think will go where in the coming growing season. So soon we'll be turning our attention to thinking about that. I've ordered some seeds just because there was a few things missing that I didn't have, and hopefully we'll have a better growing season than we did last year. I'll put a picture of the plan up so you can see. You won't be able to see the detail, but I'll go through that later, but you'll get a general idea of what my plan looked like. Oh, Woody. Seed starting is fun, but the key here is not to do it too early. Okay, so I've picked up just some essentials from the shed, just some little cell trays with the little waterer bits underneath and the plastic cloches that come with them, and just a few single small pots. This is just the first wee bit that I'll need. It's only January the 5th, I think, today, so nosy. Yeah, so it's still quite early, but something like things like chilies and peppers could probably get started within the next week or two on a seed mat in the kitchen windowsill, so that's the plan. I'm not sure if I've mentioned, but what a beautiful morning.